All right, so this is our special Halloween edition, I guess, of Coffee Talk, and I'm so glad that you were able to join me, James. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
Appreciate
I
you
know.
asking.
I love getting to know you more, and a little bit about how this works is we kind of do what we call rapid fire questions, which are some funny, some serious, you know, but it's just to get to know you on a personal level as well as business. So some of the questions I asked you are not just pertaining to real estate, but just your life overall. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about, your wife is also an agent, and how many children do you guys have together?
We have two. We have a 21-year-old daughter and a 24-year-old son.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Are you superstitious?
Yes and no.
Yeah?
You
What
know-
is one superstition that you kind of,
I think a superstition for me is, it's more of you do unto others because I think karma
karma.
gets you.
Yeah.
What you
Karma
said.
gets you.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it.
Yes, truly believe that.
Do you have a favorite number?
I think 9.
9?
And I don't know why. I just,
No, I like it.
well, March 9th is my birthday. I guess I never thought about that.
Just sticks in your head.
1965.
I love that. What subject was your worst subject back when you were in school?
English.
English? What was your best subject?
Anything dealing with math.
Really? You've always been good at math?
Been decent at math, yeah.
I love that. So what kind of a kid was James McCrate?
The Y child.
The what?
Always Y.
Oh, the Y?
Y. That's what they call me, the Y child. I have older brother and older sister and a younger. So we're 57, I'm 57, 58, 60 now, my brother. And my little sister's 54, so I was a baby for a couple of years. But as a child, I was the one that would get into trouble.
Really?
You know, went to Kelly, went to Assumption, a small Catholic high school in South Bend. Then went to Kelly, and my brother was a senior, and I was a freshman. And they go, by any chance, are you related to him? I'm like, yeah, he's my brother. And they go, oh, because we were like total different. He was the valedictorian, and I was the one getting that, you know, doing something, you know, outside.
Wow. The Dennis the Menace of
Yes,
the family?
yeah.
That's so funny. I love that. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Oh, I'd probably be a dog.
Really?
Yeah.
So you like dogs more than
Yeah.
cats?
Well, dogs are more baby-oriented. They'll hug onto you more. Because I have 3 dogs and 6 cats.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
I love it.
Okay, let me refer. I have 3 dogs inside and 2 cats inside, and then we have 4 outside. At one time, we had 12 outside. We're rescues. They'll come to the house. I'll feed them. I'll fix them. We actually have 3 cats on the shelf that have passed away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah, we
intentionally
cremated them.
rescuing them, or
No,
you
they
just
come to the
can't?
house.
Yeah.
They come to the house. Easton Capri and I went on
They feel the energy.
we went to a cruise a year ago in September, and when we came back, there was a cat.
Really?
So Sebastian, everybody's a Disney name almost.
Oh,
So
right.
Sebastian is, you know, the latest one, and I can pick up Sebastian up and, you know, and he coordinates with everybody. I actually have a 3-car garage. Third door has a cat door,
Really?
so they can come into the garage and get warm.
That's so funny. What's the funniest animal name you have, a Disney name?
Mowgli, I think.
Mowgli?
Yeah.
I like
Is
that.
that a cat or a dog?
That's and that's a funny story about him. That is a cat. He was at the Cormier office in a gnat bed when he was a baby, and so we tried to catch him. He went inside a car engine. One of the electricians got him out and would eat. So I went to I fed him with my finger. Wouldn't take a
Oh,
bite.
he was traumatized.
Traumatized, and now he's my the best friend. He'll scarf me in the middle of the night and sleep with my son.
So he's an
and just-
inside cat.
He's in and out. He's the only one in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to be careful with in and outs if they don't clean real well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
sweet
the.
Mowgli.
So they all got Disney names, and tell us a little bit. You guys are hardcore Disneyers, right?
Hardcore Disney. Hardcore Disney. And it's, you know, I'm trying to keep up with them. You know,
Yeah.
they are just, oh yeah. We're going to go on a cruise, Capri and I, with a couple in next August, 8-day cruise. And she's like, we can go a day before. And her friend says, we are going a day before. So
To
we're going
Disney,
to go
right?
one day
Yeah.
at Disney.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Can you expound a little bit on the Disney,
Yeah.
like the Disney love?
You know, we
did it start?
never did a lot of vacations. You know, and her family didn't either. It was workaholics.
When you were younger,
When we
growing
were
up,
young.
yeah.
Yeah, and she comes from a self-employed family too. Her dad had a restaurant in Vida for years and years. It was called the Hush Puppy. So he worked all the time.
Good food.
He
Yeah,
worked
good
all
food.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when they took off, it was like one trip. And what's so funny is they went to Disneyland. Well, the one trip we really went on was to Disney World.
Yeah.
So we were talking about getting married and honeymoon, and we both looked at each other and said basically at the same time, Disney World.
Oh, I love that.
So, and then we went a couple times with the kids and we bought what's called a vacation club.
Yeah.
So we have timeshare with Disney.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many times do you guys go throughout the year?
It used to be minimum 2.
Yeah.
And with everything going on and the kids getting older and all that stuff, we usually go once a year.
Do your kids love it as much as you and Capri?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They've gotten to the point. What's neat is they've gotten to the point where it's like they'll go.
Yeah.
Like we knocked out a couple things. My son and my wife's birthday is September. My daughter's July. She turned 21. She wanted to drink around the world.
Oh.
That's a big deal with people
Yeah.
because you go through the.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
So my wife, 2 friends came and they were like, well, and I said, we'll get you a room because we had these points and COVID messed it up. And so they came and didn't have to pay for a hotel room and they just paid for their tickets and they drank around the world. Now they had a sip here. They didn't
Yeah.
get, you know, but it was just, and it was
An
like,
experience.
it was an experience and she was so happy. And Easton would say, one day he'd crash at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and say, I'm done. Then he'd go, hey, I'm going to the park, bye. And he'd disappear.
Yeah.
You know, he's 24, he can do that.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's been fun because people say, why do you always go to Disney? It gets me away from here, but it's a vacation.
Yeah.
When we go, we stay in what's like a condo.
Yeah.
It's on property, but full kitchen, 2 bedrooms, 3 baths. I mean,
It's like an immersive experience.
and, yeah, and we don't have, I can remember the year Capri was diagnosed with cancer, we had a trip planned. We did, and New Year's Eve, everybody was like, oh, fireworks. We grabbed a game, we played games all night.
Aw.
Yeah, New Year's Eve, it was like the year before she started her treatment.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So do you wear the ears and all?
no. No, I'm into now I wish I would have taken some pictures. My daughter, I collect pins, and certain pins that you wear and stuff like that. We put them on boards, but my daughter and my wife do the ears. They have, if you look down the hallway, there's like Mickey Mouse in a silhouette, and all these ears looking like balloons.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and then like everything's, we've been in the house 15 years now, and everything that was there is now replaced. Over the mantle is a picture of Cinderella's castle, and throughout the house, different stuff. She has cookie jars all over on the top of the cabinets, and she has the one bar we have full of everything Halloween for Disney. Everything.
I remember talking to Capri a couple months ago and said you guys were remodeling and every room in the house was going to be a Disney theme. Bathrooms, kitchens, bedrooms, hallways.
She didn't tell me all that, so you know more than me. I know we're totally going to paint the house, and then we're like, okay, hold on, let's figure this out. So,
That's really cute though. Well, you mentioned a little bit about when she got diagnosed and then y'all intentionally going there before she started treatment.
yeah.
When was that? How far back was that? For those that don't know?
2014, she was diagnosed with cancer. Real surprise to us. So 2014 in December, she was diagnosed with cancer, and then 2015 was the year she had all her treatment. She went through 6 chemos, 5 weeks of radiation, and what we do, it's a God thing. I mean, it's just, we would leave on Friday for chemo, and we get there and have chemo like maybe at midnight, and have to stay to Sunday. Well, we always had somebody watching the kids. The kids' schedule never changed. That was the biggest thing for us.
Yeah.
The kids needed to be consistent. Even when we were going, Easton went with the choir. He was still in high school. Went with the choir to Disney. You know, so everybody with friends, family, in-laws, it just happened.
Yeah.
They went to dance. They did whatever they wanted to, and just rocked and rolled. So it was a complete year before she was released. Yeah,
Wow.
and she got the clean bill of health in December of 15.
Love it.
And, yeah,
Then,
I was just saying.
then in March of 16, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I was blessed because I caught it so early, because my dad had prostate cancer, but I caught it so early, so I just had to have surgery. So we waited to have surgery until September. It's had some lingering effects. Besides prostate and performance, it's also moods, high blood pressure. It jacks you up.
Yeah.
But you know, you're still here though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should live it.
Amen.
Seriously.
Yeah, Capri's 7 years and I'm 6 years. So,
Yay,
yeah.
that's so good.
She had it rough. You know, she had the massive hair loss. Just, it was crazy. But you know, you just kind of like, what do we have to do next? What's
Yeah.
next? What's next? What's next? Don't go
Well,
behind.
I loved when we talked before and you talked about y'all's sense of humor and how y'all got through it and how
Yeah.
y'all mess with each other about
Yeah,
it. It was kind of dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd pick and they go, well, yeah, she had cancer, I had cancer, and she'll turn around and goes, mine was worse. Yeah, we have been married 20 and a half years. We actually met, I'm 57
that.
and she's 51. We met, she was just 21. We met on a blind date in January. We were engaged in May, and we married a year later.
Oh,
So, yeah.
wow.
And the only reason why we waited a year is she's an only child, and my mother-in-law said she needed a year to plan the wedding, so.
So would you
Okay.
say that Disney is your favorite thing to do now, or is there anything else that you would consider up there as your favorite outside of work?
I enjoy Disney because I'm with my family.
Yeah.
I picked up a habit about a year and a half ago. Health is holding it back, but scuba diving. All right, that was one on my bucket list. So I'm a certified scuba diver. And this year I've had COVID pneumonia twice, and I've had cataract surgery. So I had to be careful about going down.
Yeah,
But, I
for
mean,
sure, yeah.
the guys are there. It's out of Groves, and just an awesome
Charity's
group of
doing it
guys.
right now.
Okay.
You'll have to talk to her. She's supposed to be testing, I think,
Awesome.
on Sunday.
Awesome
but yeah,
group of
she was
guys.
telling
And they're
me
like,
that.
okay, you gotta go. We had a plan to go to Bon Air in this month, November, and the doctor said, you can't with all your lung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go, just come hang out at the pool. I'm like, I just don't hang out at a pool.
Yeah.
That's just, I can't do that, so.
Well,
But yeah,
that's really cool. I like
that's the
that.
other thing.
So what would you say is your least favorite thing to do then, on the end of the spectrum?
You know, there's things you've gotta do, and you just do them. I try not to
Yeah.
consider them what's bad, you know.
Hanging out by a pool.
Well, you know, I'm the only one, and I take on more because I was so older when I got married. I take on more. I do the pool. I help with the laundry. I'm
Yeah.
kind of a Mr. Mom. Our roles are kind of weird. Yeah. And this year, she actually is the first time she's gone back. Well, last year a little bit. This year, she's teaching dancing again. She taught for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But after she took some years off, so she's teaching on Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. So we don't see each other till 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then on Tuesday night, my daughter's going through RCIA, which is to become Catholic. She was baptized Catholic, no, but she wants to get married in the Catholic Church. She's getting closer to that step in life, I think. So.
Cool.
And my brother's a Catholic priest at St. Anne's, so
didn't know
Father
that.
Uncle, yeah, Father Uncle Stephen has to marry her. Yeah, that's
Father
what
Uncle
we call him,
Stephen.
Father Uncle Stephen.
I love that.
So what's his priest's name?
Father Stephen.
Father.
Yeah.
Father Uncle Stephen.
Yeah, we call him Father Uncle Stephen.
Yeah.
And I call him, and it freaks people out when I say it. They go, "Are you related to the Pope?" Yeah, because he studied in Rome for 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very intelligent guy. Very. I wish I had half his brain. He
Oh, that's the
multiple
valedictorian
languages.
one you were talking
The
about.
valedictorian.
Okay, wow, yeah.
Multiple languages. He studied in Rome at the Vatican for 5 years.
That's so cool.
You know, and he remembers his mind. He goes through and just he can tell you lineages when he met you. And it's just
Wow.
like, whoa, dude, you know.
That's
So
really
you got a
good.
fast pass?
Yeah.
Like you're already gay? Already.
Ooh, I'm just trying to like skirt under. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
You're sliding under, yeah.
Sliding under.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
I'm kind of like going in church. It's like, okay, is this gonna fall? You know? That's like when I walked in here. It's like been a while. I'm like, is this gonna fall?
No.
Never.
We love when you're here.
She is into dance and has done it for a long time. Do you like to dance? Are you someone that's got rhythm and enjoys dance?
I like dancing to a point. I've gotten more settled in my old age and get home and stay home but no, we used to dance a lot. I
Yeah.
danced in a couple recitals and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
So what type of movies or TV shows do you like?
I'm into Blue Bloods right now.
Oh,
and
yeah?
also Game of Thrones, that whole
Oh, so good.
Is it the original or the House of Dragons?
House of Dragons
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, like them both. But Chicago, all of the Chicago stuff,
Yeah.
and Blue Bloods. Capri just came back from a New Kids on the Block concert
Oh,
where she got to
love
meet
that.
Donnie very many times. But stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do like the supernatural, you know, but it has to be a story. It can't just be all blood and
Yeah.
guts.
Yeah.
Same.
So scuba diving is kind of, I guess, what you would say is a new habit you've picked up. Do you have any other habits?
No.
No?
No, my wife would tell you years ago before I picked up scuba diving, my hobby was work.
Yeah.
Because it's been a little different right now, but I usually work 6 days a week. Because Sunday we usually do open house. So then I have my normal Monday through Friday schedule too. So Saturday's like my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still do open houses? Do you do it every Sunday?
Not here lately we haven't because the nobody's showing up, unfortunately. You know, it's a little shift in things. And also when you have the same houses that have sat there for a couple months
Yeah.
or they're in the
Yeah.
process, you need to get it fresh. So we're hoping, I'm looking at sometime in November, do one, and then back in the first of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I like that. So, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
3 words. Hyper, introvert,
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't know that, but I am, and I guess giving,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know, you start looking at yourself and you're like, I've got to be careful when you give, because sometimes you can give too much.
Yeah.
And it causes problems at work, it causes problems at home,
Yeah.
financially too, if you're not careful. So,
Yeah. So do you feel like would you say that you kind of struggle with setting boundaries or maybe did at one time?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you still? Or do you feel like you've kind of
Well,
learned as you go?
I'm getting a little better with the boundaries, but I think what I've done is just shut,
Yeah,
and I'm working on that right now.
yeah,
I'm in that, I won't say dark
Transitional
period,
phase.
yeah, that gray area right now.
yeah. When do you feel like you're your most productive?
When I'm alone,
Yeah?
yeah.
That's an
I like-
introvert thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I'm alone, because it's not all the noise going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't office out of the house, I actually I have a decent sized office over at Cormier's office. It's not even half a mile from my house,
Mm-hmm.
but you have foremen coming in and out, and they use speakerphones when they talk. You've got 4 women in the office, nothing against them, but they use
Yeah.
this talk and not pick up the phone and talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have vendors in and out, so sometimes it's like, get the headset on and.
Shut the
you know,
door.
Yeah.
Trying to get the creative side, you know,
Yeah.
because we're doing, my assistant's been out for about a month and a half, her dad passed away. And so she was helping him towards the end, and then went on the cruise with my wife. So I've been trying to get that creative side, and it's been fun, trying to
Yeah.
do different stuff on posting.
Yeah.
You know, not all, and I've never been all about me. My wife hates it, but I don't like posting stuff about
Yeah.
me, it's about, what am I trying to do, you know?
Yeah. So you feel like headsets and things like that are the most effective way for you to be able to get that quiet time during the day?
Because once I focus, even at the house, if I start focusing on something, they come in and it's like, didn't hear you.
Yeah.
What do you, so it gets, yeah.
Who are
Get
you?
music on or something just to lock in.
Yeah. Are you gonna ask something?
No, when you said like I'm focusing, like who are you?
Oh, yeah? Yeah,
And usually it's the dogs that are coming up like, okay,
Yeah.
come on.
yeah. So what would you say is the most important to you?
My family's health and well-being.
Mhm.
You know, we'll do anything and everything for them.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes that, you know, the transition right now, I'm having trouble. She's 21. Hey, she has a boyfriend. We don't know when the ring's coming, but they're getting there. And it's trying to slowly cut the apron cord. You know, it's like, hey, Dad, can you transfer? Hey, Dad, can you transfer? And then also,
That's
my
hard.
son graduated from A&M. We found out he's probably high-performing Asperger's. So he has a box he lives in. He works at Walmart, graduated A&M, works at Walmart, but he loves it, and he's doing great. You know, and it's like, he's comfortable and stuff, but it's like, okay, I gotta teach him, like, let's go to the next level, you know,
Yeah.
and start the budget things. And we applied for a credit card for the first time for him. And it's like, he's never had to, because I wanted to do more than I moved out when I was, I guess at 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, got an apartment on my own, got my first car on my own, paid for college on my own, moved to Houston, worked for a CPA firm. Yeah, so
So,
Oh, CPA, so,
I have accounting in my background, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
How did you
I have an
do that?
accounting
Yeah.
degree, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I went to
Alright.
Lamar,
Yeah.
I graduated with accounting.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I graduated with accounting, I already had, at the age of 19, I already had all the hours I needed for my license. Real estate, I took through UT, what was it, LU? LIT? I forget what they used to call it, because they've changed it. But,
Yeah.
yeah, but I took all my classes and I went, hey, I'm thinking I'm gonna do this. Dad said you can't make any money real estate. So I was the one that Dad and I, yeah.
Yeah.
so how long
Go-
were you an
go-
accountant for?
I was an accountant, well, I graduated in '88, went to Houston for 2.5 years. That was not a good life. Whew, you could party too much over there.
It's like, why are they looking at me?
Mark, back in the day now. So I got to the point where it's like, I'm not, you know, who am I going to find? I'm ready for the next step in life. You know, I thought at 25 I'd be married, have a kid, you know, and I was getting up there. So Dad wanted me to come work with him and buy out his partner. He had a little bookkeeping service. and we did travel and mom and pop shops and stuff like that. And so I did that until I got my license in 99, the year after Easton was born. Yeah, he was born in 98, and I got it in 99.
Was that a tough conversation to have to finally have with your dad?
We did transition.
Yeah.
Because we knew the business was slowing down, and I came in, when I came back, I computerized it. They did everything by hand.
Right.
So I was able to shift the time and disperse a little bit better. And when we did that, I could get away some. So I worked both businesses when I was at the Blue and White Company, where I started, and I came over here and I worked on a team for a while, for about a year and a half.
Whose team were you on?
Andy's.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And,
That.
huh?
I'm just learning so much. I didn't know that.
And, okay, and this is, it's funny, story is, went to lunch one day and got fired.
From Andy?
From Andy. And what happened, that's the good side, that's the
That's the
joke.
good news.
That's the,
Are you guys still friends?
yeah, we're friends. But what happened is, I was also, because my dad had passed away, I was also in the transition of his business. He
Yeah.
had started in 1968, 3 years after I was born, so, and my family worked there. So I was kind of like trying to do both. So we got my wife involved in the business, and she was helping me run it. And it was hard. You know, I did over 6 figures that year working with Andy, and I was content. I would never want to be where I am now.
Yeah.
I like to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm a good workhorse because my organizational skills aren't always that good. It's by the luck of the draw. So when that happened, it happened on a Friday afternoon. I'd come back from being sick, and I called Mary Jane, Mutai, and I said, "Hey, this is what's happened." She goes, "Okay." I said, "Is there a way?" Because back then, when you were assistant, you would usually go to another company, not stay. And I was only the second assistant that was given the privilege of becoming an agent. And Mary Jane went back to the
At
four.
Remax?
Yeah, at Remax,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So I was at Remax 7 years. I was at Coldwell Banker for 2.5 years. While I was at Coldwell Banker, I got my broker's license too, but I was at Remax for 7 years. Then I went to the Red Company, drank too much Kool-Aid, 6 years. And then I came back, and I've been back 7 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 23 years,
Yeah.
but it's by the grace of the 4 owners at the time
Yes.
that they allowed me to stay on
To come from Andy's team as an
as
individual.
an individual agent. And I was only the second person to do that in history. Yeah.
So
That's
where
really
was
cool.
Capri? She was on the accounting business?
Accounting, she was doing accounting. She's had her license since 1994,
Okay.
but she don't like people. She doesn't like that newness of people. You know,
Yeah,
what we do is, if you look at it,
Yeah.
we have to be so careful, and I think it's gotten worse and better. But we also learn our old tricks that when you're going out, you want to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the newness of, just happens. When I went on my own, I picked up foreclosures, and a couple of times I was called the foreclosure king. But I did a lot of foreclosures. They still pay, but it was just a little bit more work.
Yeah.
I've knocked on doors and told people, you gotta move. Here's a $1,000 check.
How did you end up in that? I mean, like,
Libby didn't want to do it anymore, and she handed me files, and I paid a referral fee, and I was throwing stuff against the wall.
Yeah.
One of my favorite expressions is throw up against the wall. Keep on throwing it, something's bound to stick. You know, and it's like when you get to the point where we all start off at 0. No matter how much you did last year, you're at 0 at January 1st.
Correct. Yeah.
So here we go. Let's start throwing stuff up against the wall. You know, and something's going to stick. You know, how many no's do you have to get the yes? You know,
It's a numbers
and
game, yeah.
It's a numbers game. You know,
James, who was the first one that did that for?
Andy.
Oh.
And I think, and it was a unique way it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, because of.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember the day when you came and talked, or Mary Jane came back or talked to us or something, and we all said, oh, yeah, we don't want you to leave. So that was the door closing, the door opening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's blessing. And you know, the hardest day, you look back in the hardest things you've ever done, and it was when I told Hester I was leaving Remax, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very hard for me, because I'm gonna tell you, for that whole 6 years, every time I dropped off a contract, when are you coming home?
No.
Heidi, like I never left. It's like, okay, you got to get this out of your system.
Yeah.
So just go get it out of your system, then you come back.
Like a
And
midlife
really,
crisis.
that's really, yeah,
Yeah.
that's really, really different.
So when you came back, was it with Charlie or was it with?
Charlie.
Charlie,
Yeah.
okay.
Charlie was there at that point, I guess.
Yeah, Charlie was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did a crazy conversation with Charlie. The conversation was like, so what would somebody have to do to come over? Would we just go buy signs or what?
He's
And
like, just-
what's the fees? He
So
goes,
Charlie said this to you?
no, I told him.
Oh,
So it's like, okay, so when can I come sign some things? He goes, what? Because he's like, yeah, so it just happened.
Yeah.
So now, so it's been seven
It's
years?
been, yes, I've been a total Remax agent over 14 years. But
Yeah.
I had a lapse in memory,
A
a
gap year.
gap in my
And
brain
Judge
for
Gap
about 6
Gap
years.
years.
Yeah.
So how long were you an individual coming from Andy's team to creating your own team?
Oh, I don't remember that. It was a weird transition. I had an assistant. It may have been that. I was on my own for 7.
How
When
long?
you made a team.
I think I was, when I left here, I was not a team. No, I did. I had Jonathan. Jonathan for a short time. Yes. Sally introduced to a wonderful guy. He is now a nurse practitioner.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Jonathan Morgan. Awesome individual. Yeah.
him?
So good, yeah.
He's at, I forget where he at, ENT. He's at ear, nose, and throat. But he had a history, then he went to real estate, and he's like, I'm not gonna work like you do. Went into school, got his nursing degree, turned around and
Wow.
got his nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Vic had his heart surgery, Jonathan came in to give Vic a bath.
Oh,
And Vic
God.
goes, no.
Yeah, he's so good looking.
Oh, yeah, and he is,
So
Very good
looking.
he's precious as get out.
Yeah.
His whole
So
family.
kind,
His
yeah.
whole family,
That
yeah.
whole family, yeah, you're right.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
That is
so
hilarious.
James, how do you define success?
Then I realized,
I know we all do differently, so.
If I can pay my bills, I think I'm successful.
Yeah.
There's a lot going out of the McCrate household with everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, 6 cats, $4,
Yeah.
$3.
Yeah, no, it is a note. They are not cheap either. Animals are not. But I love that. So how long total have you been in real estate again? you said?
23.
Okay, and then you did accounting before that. And tell us a little bit, because I thought it was so fascinating whenever you came up that day and we're talking about how you got your mortgage. I don't know if you got licensed or just took the classes or anything, just to kind of learn a little bit more about it, to know.
3 years ago, I was hearing conversations from some of the buyers that their lenders were saying, I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna pull you over. I'm not gonna just switch you. It's like, look, there's options, there's different stuff, especially working with a builder, you have a 6-month period, you can kind of look around. So I was like, that's not right. So I started looking, I was like, I'll take a class. And I thought, well, maybe this will continuing education. Well, it wasn't. Well, then I took another class. And so 3 years ago, I got my license. It's inactive, but I have my broker's license
Yeah.
for mortgages.
I
Or
thought
my-
that was really cool,
yeah.
just to get to
Loan
have that
officer's
knowledge.
license, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to get the knowledge, and I
Yeah.
have, it's every year you have to do continuing
Yes.
education with that. And it's a lot of education.
Yeah,
'Cause it
so even when
constantly
it's not
changes.
active, you have to still keep, yeah.
Yes, ma'am, yeah. So I did that 3 years ago, I guess.
What would you say has been the most pivotal moment? Pivotal? Pivotal.
Pivotal.
In your career?
pitiful.
Yeah, that's what I always said.
Yeah, it's always a double-edged sword, isn't it? There's 2 ways to look at it. My way of what made a difference, you know, and I try not to be a material person. So I think what, for me, pivotal career-wise, was when they allowed me to become an agent, a full agent at Remax. That's one of those forever in their debt,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
Because they did, they were gracious enough, because they did have, you know, and it is something that we still to this day maximize the agent. You know, what can we do? Real estate at its maximum. You know, and that was really, you know, you think about it, that's the biggest, you know, wow. You know, I'm the second one,
Yeah.
you know.
Bravo, Dexter,
I
and
know.
everyone
Yeah.
else, that's so good.
I think that we had the concept of, we really didn't want a lot of agents. We did not go with the program from Houston. We were
Right.
just reverse, because we kind of had, as they called it, I think, what's his face, who was the president?
Was it Richard?
Philip.
Yeah,
Philip.
Richard.
He called us a little, something society of Southeast Texas, like we were a little sorority over here, and that we wouldn't let anybody in unless we really liked them. And we thought they'd do well, and that was
We
the
didn't take
case.
new people.
No, we just really, we weren't out, we didn't hustle around like,
You gotta kill a banker and get training.
yeah, we were just, it was just the opposite. So what James is saying was it was unusual. It doesn't sound unusual today, because now Charlie likes lots of agents, and everybody that's a good agent can come, but not then. It was
Yeah.
totally different. I don't know how we got that concept, but
But you know, and also if you'd been in the industry long enough back then, you looked up to, it was an honor. You know, and I didn't try to go through a back door, because when I was interviewed, they're like, well, you know, if you, how do I say this right? If you come as a buyer's agent, then you'll have to leave if anything happens. And so it's like, okay, yes, so you know not that you're second class
Mm-hmm.
at all, but that's how it was presented. So it's like, so
You
then
park
when,
on the street.
huh? You go down the street. Yeah, you go down the street, you pick a
You
corner and
park in
go.
the- Park in the parking lot.
Heard that.
But yeah, there was,
They didn't have enough parking.
didn't have enough parking.
So what's been the toughest real estate period that you've had to go through in that long of a career? I know that we've had, different markets, different storms, things like that. Anything that's impacted you?
And it's wow. And I look at things differently. I don't look at it the monetary, but I think one of the storms I went through was when I took over the builder's account. There was a little challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and I got called into a couple meetings and stuff, and as I asked Sally, God love her soul, she called, we need to talk to you. I said, okay. And I said, come in. And I said, is my position at RE/MAX in jeopardy? She goes, it could be.
Oh.
So it was one of those conversations that with Sally, she was very,
Oh.
so that for me was, I try not to, if I have something bad to say, I'm not going to be around.
Mhm.
Why say it?
Mhm.
Why stab it? Why do that?
Mhm.
So why not just put your nose in the grindstone and just work?
Yeah.
So that was a pivotal. Another pivotal was that same thing, pivotal-wise, was I didn't realize how much that business needed, because we were in transition between two builders.
Yeah.
It was Dennis as the actual builder at the time, and Tom was just financial.
Mhm.
Well, right when I got there was about a year later, and then Tom took over. Well, systems and the differences and things, and I created job sheets, I created pour schedules, I created, I do all the contracts.
Yeah.
We don't, the system's in place, and you're constantly changing, and so that pivotal was getting into where it was, they expect you there, and that's why it's like, some days it's like, okay, you gotta be here at 7 o'clock. Even when there's somebody coming on weekends, hey, they're gonna do selections, it's like, well, I've got something, well, no, you need to be there.
Yeah.
You know.
So how do you go from being the foreclosure king to having that relationship now that you've been working with a builder for so long? That's a big transformation.
I think what happened was, when everybody was here, Andy was here, Kathy Cleveland was here, and myself were here, Andy and I went and visited with them, and it just didn't take. Then Andy, I, and Kathy went and visited with them, didn't take. Then when the girls came over to RE/MAX, they wanted help on an open house. I've always been, I worked. I'm a workhorse. I'll make it. I always tell people, something goes wrong, I'm going to go to McDonald's and flip some burgers. I'm going to make ends meet.
Yeah.
But what happened was, so I did open house. Every other open house I did it, and then they wanted me to come to the meetings to know the new stuff. And I think it was just time. Sometimes you get to the point where it's like transition.
Yeah.
So
Put yourself in the right position.
they turned around and asked us, said, hey, we're going to be interviewing some people. Are you interested in it? I said, I'm not taking somebody's business. So it was just kind of one of those things. I was already in the six-figure incomes, grossing. People, the multimillionaire, 6 figures tops. So I think that was the hardest thing. You go into it with, it just happened. My business, and it's like, it wasn't, this is what I'm going to do. It's like, this is what I've got to do to go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting thing.
So have you always been, do you feel like resilient like that and a workhorse like that, or is that stuff that you've
Oh, yeah.
developed over
Yeah.
time?
Had
Yeah,
to.
just-
We were cutting grass every Saturday,
When you were younger?
7 or 8.
Yeah.
And we'd get up and we were out the door about 7:30 and we'd get home about 2 o'clock.
Yeah. So your dad was pretty stern with how he.
Yeah, and oh God love him. 2/3 went to my brother, a third went to me.
Aww.
So it's kind of like just made me push a little harder, It's like, okay. So,
Was he, is it just because he was older or?
trying to save up for college
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. That's so funny.
But also my brother was very intelligent, but common sense wasn't there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been the biggest lesson in real estate that you feel like you've learned?
Multi.
Uh-huh.
Always be kind.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, and I'm seeing more and more out there right now about what that person's going through. So always be kind, because you don't know what the other person's going through.
You want
Huh?
that. On that side.
And also with that, like when I go to approach someone in a challenging situation, there's going to be a solution. And it's like, where do you want to, how do you fix it? And if you go in with let's fix this, let's not bitch about it, let's fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and let's get through it. You know, I'm the first one that'll open up a checkbook and write a check. You know, and say, hey, let's just,
Just be
mistakes
done with
happen,
it.
be done with
Yeah.
it, let's go on. You know, you still, even though, yes, we do make good money, sometimes we have to give that money up to make that dollar.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
You know, and not everybody agrees with my philosophy, but it's like, I'd rather take $1 home than nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I bought half a bathroom before.
Really?
Yeah, I've paid for half a bathroom before because they did not remember and it just got to the point and I'm like, I'm not gonna blow it up in my client, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a new construction.
From that one deal, they'll tell 7
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it's sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And working for a builder's been a little odd because I don't get a lot of resale. That's been one of those things I've learned. You don't get a lot of resale because they think I'm gonna push just new construction,
Right.
you know? And I've learned the team effect. And the team is buyer, seller, the agents, the lenders,
Yeah.
everybody. We're all a team. Would you treat your team member like sometimes we want to treat the other agent on the other side?
Yeah.
And you're like, would we want to be treated that way? So that's you know, and don't get me wrong, I may hang up that phone and cuss up and down the hall, but they'll never know it.
Yeah.
You know, my job, I've learned, and especially with what we do on my side about the way we type up the contracts, we do the selections, we meet me, y'all be surprised how many times the agents don't even show up.
Yeah.
They'll do what a dog does, pee on it and mark it.
Yeah.
And they'll call you, hey, this is my client. It's like, okay, we got a meeting here. Don't show up.
Yeah.
They don't show up. Don't show up.
Don't you think it's like when you come, you're just like, y'all know everything, you do everything. So it's not, like, I've been, and you know, I just kind of sit there and blah, blah, blah.
But you check all the boxes. You check in on your client.
Yeah.
Mark's a good example.
Yeah.
He checks on the clients. He
Yeah.
follows through. What can we do? Hester, we've had transactions. Tammy, we've had transactions. And you check on your transactions.
Yeah.
You may not be able to, you may not
Present.
do anything, especially when you deal with new construction, but
But
you
you're
still,
involved.
you make the
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah, you
Yes.
show up now, it's like if they go back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually had one agent call me. I said, hey, we've got an issue here. Well, you know, I wasn't at the meeting, so y'all are just gonna have to solve it. Let me know how it works.
Whew.
They're still getting paid the same amount I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
Their liability is still the same liability as me. But you know, then I'm like, get the job done.
Yeah.
Get to the finish line,
It's the
everything's
same
happy.
on that. Not new construction is the same with other.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
it is.
yeah. Well, and you, all of a sudden you see them at closing.
I'm going to label a breaker box in a minute with Dale. Because the seller didn't do it. you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've,
You do.
Yeah.
you know. I have this one, and this is gonna be coming up. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath
Yeah.
on Vans Way. Needs foundation work and everything. God love my brother. The owner of it is MC Fathers, Inc., San Diego, but they're actually out of, right outside Tijuana, Mexico.
Oh.
But, and it gets my heart, it's Mothers of Charity, which is actually Mother Teresa's order. So she has an order of several different layers of nuns and priests as well. So I met the priest because my brother referred, and you know, and it's like, oh my God, it was horrible. I gotta get a dumpster, and it's just like, you know, you have things like that. You just do it,
Yeah.
you know, because it's but it'll have to be a cash deal. But I've got to go over there and get some boxes of trash and
Yeah.
like
I need
crazy.
that address.
So how did you end up building a team then?
Sally, I think, said, hey, would you work with him? He's close to your age and us, and that's not, you know, he's new. And I said, sure. So that started, and it just, then we had people ask. I didn't go out and look, I asked. But I ran my team like a brokerage.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, look, I'll try to give you some leads if I can, but, you know, I'm going to give you a 70-30 split. I'll pay all your expenses. And that's what I do. 70-30 split, I'll pay all your expenses, except for your board dues. I'll pay your MLS. I get 30%. It goes towards that. And you got the support because I have she's not full-time, but she is full-time because she watches emails and she does all the transactions. You can only tell when the transactions are messed up because she's been.
It was you.
Here's me. And I told Melissa, it's me.
That's Carrie, right?
No, that's
Jessica.
Jessica.
Jessica,
Yeah.
okay.
Carrie has been like a work partner in Dominion. Because at one time we had Dominion, Indian Springs, the Woods, all those 3 subdivisions we were running.
Yeah.
And we have one house left in the Woods.
I had to deal with her and she was really good.
Yeah.
So what makes you laugh more than anything?
Oh, nowadays, almost everything. You look back and you see some of the stupid things you do. I laugh a lot about, you know, me and my wife, 28 and a half years, and, you know, just the stupidest stuff we do. We do TikToks back and forth, but, you know.
Like make them or just
No,
send
no,
them?
no, 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 no. We send each other.
Because you're about to rope yourself into
No,
a
no,
TikTok.
no, we send. She's got this fixation on New Kids on the Block.
Oh, yeah. I love
And
it.
I saw one video where they were really getting a little raunchy, and I sent it to her. I said, "Nope, you can't go on the cruise." Pardon me, but that was her birthday gift. But you know, I try to stop and make sure I laugh.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah. But that's yeah. The granimals. I call them granimals, my animals.
Yeah.
You know,
That's-
my babies.
Oh,
Yeah. My kids are 22, 21, and 24, so my
Yeah.
yeah.
Are they a lot in personality like you more, or Capri, or a perfect mix?
The animals or the kids?
The kids.
The kids.
Yeah.
Both.
Grayson is that daughter that dad.
Yeah.
You know, and she'll play the two of us.
And-
Easton is very serious.
Yeah?
He comes in from work, got to take a shower. It's been a long, hard day, and
Mhm.
he's going to go take a bath, and he'll see you.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go play games till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, so but I've finally gotten him to be a little bit out, where it's like we do the proper hug thing.
Mhm.
I'm forcing him to do the proper hug, which Blindside. I don't know if you've seen the movie
love
Blindside.
it,
It's
yeah.
like, I want to do, Dad, I need a proper hug, and he'll do that to me too, because he was like, you know,
Yeah.
and it's been a little tough. The ADHD, he lived in College Station for 4.5 years, and he lived during COVID alone, so it kind of, with his
Yeah.
personality,
Took its
kind
toll.
of messed up. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were up there a lot. Oh, Capri was up there a whole lot.
Yeah.
So with Capri, she works referrals, as in like when we know family and friends, she'll do that. She does a great job. She helps me with her pricing. She's got, because I'm always like, you don't want to price too high, you want to sell, you know, so
Yeah.
we make a good team.
I love it. So who's been your biggest influence?
Not to put people on the spot, 2 of them are in here.
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's okay. I was, most of the time, usually there's
Mark
somebody.
and Hester,
Oh,
and
yay.
Taryn, Mark, Hester, Taryn, and Sally.
Mhm.
First time I ever talked to Sally Bundy, I was at Coldwell Banker, and I said, Sally, Miss Bundy, because she was like, Sally Bundy. You know, it's like, oh no, I mean, I'm like a year into
Yeah.
this, and I said, well, there's supposed to be a listening that y'all are supposed to be getting, and, you know, you're talking softly because you don't want to, she goes, and she's precious from the moment on, I love it. She said, she goes, well, I don't know about it. Well, and if Sally Bundy doesn't know about it, nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And I just, wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. But those, you know, when I came here, they always have made me feel, and they've always been there. Not to oversimplify, but if you have, like, I've learned something from Hester about, if you need to throw a little money at it to get it closed, get it closed. If you have to work with them, if you have to work with them, get it done.
Yeah.
You know, Mark is stay friendly.
Yeah.
You know, and he's also, even though he does the Pentecostal hero with me, he's saying, you need to look good. You need to be, you know,
Yeah.
Did you
Sure.
see his comment on the Facebook about your hair?
no.
Yeah, it was cute, but it was funny you said
Brother
that. I've
James,
never heard it
called you
either.
Brother James.
Yeah.
Brother James, you gotta watch that hair, and it's gone,
Yeah.
it's gone a little wild sometimes if I don't, and now
I
the
love
grayer,
it.
you don't wanna cut it, cause the more you cut it, the more gray.
I had hair envy, so.
But, you know, and going the transition, from the first time I was at RE/MAX, we were 32, 33 people maybe. And then when I came back and it was all this, it's, for me, I don't show it, but I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. I mean, I get sick to my stomach sometimes to get up here and talk, and, you know, but I know I need to do something. You know, it's like, I'm having the issue right now with myself is going into that corner too much.
Yeah.
You know, I've lost a lot of energy. I've lost you know, the last several years after surgery, you know, you're getting old.
Yeah.
You feel it. And if
Yeah.
you don't, you know, so I got away from it by doing,
Not old, James.
well, but you feel older
Well, you
because
feel-
things you've gone through, and
And then
you know,
COVID made us all
COVID
a little more
made-
introverted, yeah.
so, so you just kind of slowly but surely step out.
Yeah.
And you just have to start stepping out more.
Well, we appreciate you stepping out to come and sit here with us. I'm grateful for that. But, so are you somebody that sets goals every year? Or?
I do, but I don't,
Mhm.
because I've been behind. I've always been behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, goals. I try to do the man in the mirror. What can I do differently? And it's more, I set mini goals. I want to get so many contracts done. But I do it because in my situation, I have, I think there's 10 staff people at Cormier. Then you have all these contractors. And you're kind of like, that one house sale employs so many people.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, crap. You
Yeah,
know, that's
pressure.
because in 6 months, I mean, they're going to get paid every week. I don't get paid for 6 months, which is fine. But you've got to try to keep something going so they can keep
that
working.
pipeline,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Because Cormier pays every Monday. And you're kind of like, okay, let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
And when it's like, it's slow, they look at me, it's like, why? I'm like, we're trying to sell.
Yeah.
We're trying, but the prices keep doing this, the interest rates are doing this. You know.
Yeah. I like that you said that, the man in the mirror, though.
Yeah.
I think that's a
And I've
cool
always tried
approach.
to judge that way.
So
You know.
what's the percentage of fall throughs from like, when you, in the 6 months? Like, the people, how many people don't close probably?
I think I've had in 15 years, 3.
Wow.
That's really good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why is we use the Texas Association Builders contract. And I actually go to the seminar as a representative, and I have to make sure I don't wear a RE/MAX shirt because I work for Cormier now. So we go to Greater Houston Association, just went last week, and we go over these seminars and with the lawyers and stuff like that. So we have a thing in there that says if it doesn't appraise, you still pay. We also say that your builder deposit is either 3% or the cost of your upgrades. So if he has to, and the theory behind that, if you walk away and you've added $50,000 to this house, you already paid for that.
Yeah.
So then you could technically sell it at base price and not lose money.
Mhm.
So the theory behind it, Tom Cormier, who owns a company, is a CPA. So he's very,
A smart guy.
yeah, very smart.
Yeah.
You know, and he doesn't build too much. Right now it's probably the most specs we've had in quite some time.
Him being
Yeah.
a CPA and you having your background in accounting, did that help y'all to connect on a different level, or was he even aware of that?
He knew it. I think, you know, honestly, it's the workhorse. When they said, oh, we want to open a house on Sunday, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll
Just being that
Saturday, yeah.
person that, yeah.
I don't cut my yard anymore because I don't spend Saturday cutting the yard. You know, I have somebody that comes in after one of my surgeries, you know.
You can have it.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
The
That's
year
great.
before Capri had cancer, I went into the emergency room with a pain. It ended up being a hematoma. So I was in the hospital for a week and I lost 50 pounds.
Oh, my.
So in a week I lost 50 pounds. But it's, oh yeah, so I mean, if I could never have a six pack, I can tell you that now. I've got a scar here and a scar there and all that. But my mother-in-law hired, I paid for it, but my mother-in-law hired somebody to come, and I'm like, you know what, I can sleep in. I don't have to get up
This is
because
totally worth
trying
the
to,
money.
rake the yard and do that, and then the pool, and then, yeah, it's crazy. So,
So what are you looking forward to most over the next 12 months?
trying to get through what we're going through, and trying to make sure we go through it right. You know, battle down the hatchets, cut back in the house, I've got some spenders, cut back on that. Being out there,
Yeah,
it's, to me, I think it's a test of what can we do different? How
yeah,
can we try to educate? How can we work together, you know, in trying to, you're still gonna move. The interest rates used to be 10, 12%.
finding the
you know.
opportunity in it.
Yeah, make sure and educate them, you know. Listening to Garrison,
Yeah,
I love the way he did it. He's, for so young, he's so wise
it
about
really is.
some situations they don't need to. And I know you
Yeah.
shouldn't walk away from money, but if you wanna be, we're a consultant. We don't own the house, so we don't really sell houses. We consult with them.
Yeah,
So if you look at situations like, you know, do you really need to move?
yeah.
You know?
And I think it's kind of like what Mark was saying about, you know, somebody spreading anything bad about you, that's gonna be it's gonna go a lot further than anything good. So focusing on the long game in that relationship,
That's right.
you know what I mean, versus just
I
the
think
short
it's
term.
a good reminder, like when you're talking about, like, it's the client's best interest first.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you say, I don't think that you should move, I don't think you should buy, it's giving them that advice, consulting them, like, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
your interests
Yeah.
come before mine.
But like you
Yeah,
said
put
earlier,
yourself in their
the
shoes.
karma, I was trying to figure out the word you said
Yeah.
karma. It's
Yeah.
like you think about the karma that
Yeah,
goes for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's, in my case, I've always tried to do it right.
Yeah.
I can go back honestly and tell you a couple things in 15 years 23 years that I didn't think went right, and I
Yeah.
felt bad about it. Even though I apologized about it, it's still one of those.
Yeah.
keeps you up at night.
Yeah, it keeps you up at
Yeah.
night still because until it's resolved, you know, and it has to be resolved by both parts.
Yeah,
But no, trying to trying to be honest and say, hey, and
Yeah.
I know people don't like it, and people probably know it. I do reduce my commission a lot of times with relationships, situations. I'm not saying it's a good habit to be in. My wife kills me. She hates me. But I'm like, they need so much money. They've got to get out of this, and if not, they could really be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look
So
at
you
it,
look
yes,
at
I
the
like to
overall
get that whole,
situation, yeah.
I like to get the whole pizza pie,
Yeah.
But if I have to take a slice, at least I'm eating something.
Yeah, and you don't wanna see your client foreclose in 3 years, or, and you're like.
But I always mess with my side.
Correct, yeah.
I will never, because you see some of these people that we know they're making more on their side than they're giving us, and no, I will always, if I do a 4, it's gonna be 3 to you and 1 to me. Now, new construction, I can't do anything, it's a 2-2.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Your point, though, like, people know when you're working in your own interest
Correct.
compared to what
Yeah.
is better for what their
For theirs.
situation may need.
Mhm.
Like I think that people, whether we acknowledge it or not, they're, I think, very much in tune with that. You can
Yeah.
read it and you can see it.
Mhm.
So I agree.
Because, in my situation, I'm able to give away half a bathroom. But I gave away shutters on somebody. That was a gift.
Yeah.
But they really wanted them, but they really were over at the point.
Yeah.
But I don't go back, I also don't go back and say, oh, closing, don't you remember I gave you those shutters? I just, next,
Yeah.
I'm just not. So I don't give, I usually don't do
It
closing.
depends.
Huh?
I brought it up before.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, because you are. And with my situation with the builder, I will get calls on weekends for warranty calls. They call so many times to the company, and they don't get
Yeah.
anybody, and I'll get agents, and I love that, because let's get you the right information. I had agents say, hey, I'm getting ready to list this house, we think the square footage is wrong. I said, well, let me see what it was when we built it, and well, it's this much. I said, I called Herschel a couple years back and said, Herschel, you got this one listed for 1652 square feet, it's 15. Because you take $100 at 100 square feet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 10
It
grand.
adds up.
it adds up real quick, especially in our market now.
Yeah.
And I've sat down, and I'm also responsible for when an appraiser goes upside down to pull the plan out and get the plan to the appraiser, make sure the appraiser gets in the property, send him the plan beforehand,
Yeah.
So just do what you gotta do. I've always been one of those.
Yeah.
In college, I moved out when I was 18. I worked for my dad for a couple hours, from 12 to 4. I did a couple side jobs. While I was in college, I did books. I did some accounting for Nidra, and then I did some accounting for her husband. I also worked at a liquor store from 4 to 9, and then I worked at the Montaigne Center.
What's the liquor store?
It was called Party Pack. It's closed now in Delaware, right by All Saints.
Yeah.
So, and I worked there all day. So then after I tell people, I said, my claim to fame is, after I got off one job, I went to go clean George Bush's plates when he was vice president, the original George Bush. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's comical, I told my son, I said, I cleaned his plates. I said, and he was in the senior cadets when they took him off the train. And he
Where were
sang.
you at when you did that?
Montaigne Center.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
he was here,
I met Oprah. She was walking by, and we were doing popcorn.
That's so funny.
But no, I always worked. I always had multiple jobs I
Yeah.
could do.
So then what's the biggest piece of advice you could give to a new agent starting out? Because it sounds like you've got a lot of good advice. I mean, you've already shared that.
Thank you. Not right now. I would say, honestly, and I wish I would have a time in my life I could just stop it and then set up. Get a system. Get a true system. Get 2 checking accounts.
Yep.
Get where that check comes in, send it. Write your check like you're writing some of your commission check. You write your check and take it to your savings account and forget it. That's been the biggest thing, because being behind the 8 ball, making sure your taxes are paid off, making sure you pay your bills as you go. Ask anybody. If you're not sure, ask.
Yeah.
Whenever you bring on new members like Champ or your other team members, do you mentor them, I guess, and teach them these kind of lessons as well right at the gate, or how does that process go when they come
Well,
in?
Champ's a unique one. Loving to death, 19. Well, no, now he's 21. He's
Yeah.
21 now. But it's like, you remember 21?
Oh,
It's been a
God.
long time for 21
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I remember 21. You
Yeah.
can, it's like, Champ, this is what you
Yeah,
need to
it's
do.
really crazy.
You need to, but he's got another business going on, and, he's also, The
He-
agent,
He's not how I was at 21.
no. He's also an agent where he's in, the new agent, I think Mark said it time and time again about new agents, usually family and friends,
Yeah.
that first year or two. And then it starts getting, that's when you, after that period of time, then you can actually,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't have that. You know, my family wasn't moving that much, so I didn't
Yeah.
have families and friends, you know, that did that. I just, phone time back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jody Domain and I used to fight over that phone time.
Really?
And she was like, got it. I'm like, okay. She was fast on that phone.
That's
But I did,
funny.
I came up here all the time. When I got over here in Omaha, I worked as minimum as I could over at the accounting service, bookkeeping service, and then we finally closed it. We just got to the point.
Other than phone time, I know you mentioned something about door knocking or something like that earlier, and then open houses. What is probably the best lead generating activity that you feel like you did early on starting out?
Used to be the open houses.
Mm-hmm.
We used to me, open houses were decent back in the day.
Do you feel like it's something differently being done now, or something, you know?
I think people are so busy that they don't just go to peruse, like just get ideas anymore. Once in a while you get ideas. I think they're not specific for open houses anymore. You know, it's a consistency. I think it's good on new construction because they were thinking of ideas for new construction. I don't know what, I've been meaning to ask how the turnout's been because you can see when business slows down, how many people are doing open houses now. You know, and I'm not talking realtor luncheons, I'm talking
Yeah,
open houses.
absolutely.
Because you start seeing this popping up more and more. You know, and I'm like, okay. It just, you know, so,
Yeah.
And you do your open houses or your team?
I do,
Okay.
yeah. Carrie was doing one, now we'll rotate, but also since it's slow, I don't want her sitting up there with nobody going up, so I'll just go. But I take it as an advantage time. I can watch a movie, I can read a book, I can chill. One time I actually fell asleep and somebody came in and recorded me. Recorded me and sent it to my foreman.
No.
Oh yeah, they got the biggest laugh. They said they
Ah.
opened and closed the door and nothing.
And you never
Yeah.
woke up?
Never woke up.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it was probably a year ago. And I've got it somewhere. They've got it on video and I'm like, you know, sometimes you're tired when it's quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that should have been in the you did what?
Oh,
award
yeah,
for
no,
it.
you know, you're like, let's clean the slate. Let me tell you what I've
Yeah.
done, whether it's good or bad, you know.
Purge, just purge it, yeah, that's so funny.
But you know, I think it's camaraderie too. The whole thing, and you know, you start when you asked, and I started like, what do you do? And I believe that in my life there is 3 knocks on the door by God in different forms and fashions, and when you got to listen. Otherwise, it's like, you know, I sent the boat, I sent a helicopter, I sent the
Yeah.
you know, I gave you all these chances. You know, so you have to listen.
I love that
So
story.
when you're looking, you were a knock. It's like I need to get out more. You know,
Uh-huh.
because I can be too much introvert, and I can use excuse about energy and stuff. But you know, it's the biggest part of advice is plug in.
Yeah,
You know, and I'm the worst to be saying that. That I've unplugged everywhere I possibly could
yeah,
because I'm tired. You know, but the biggest thing for new members, especially with the facilities we have here, with the camaraderie we have, with the education we have here, and we've got, I mean, look across the table, you've got wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Even the agent that's only been in the business 2 years, and they're doing the 96 year education. Well, I haven't done that much education in a long time.
Yeah.
So they still know the book better. You know, so you can learn from everybody. But it's the plugging in. You know, I hated that I can't be here as much because of the demand being there, but it's like, you've got to.
yeah.
It's, you know, it's the accountability. It's like, look, I need somebody to say, why weren't you here? You know, he used to do it to me.
Mark?
Mark used to. When I did make a sales meeting back in the day,
Yeah.
or Janet would say, we missed you.
Yeah.
And they would, it's never been a negative approach.
Yeah.
You know, you know, when I've come in
And
and
I
said, we
think
miss
they
seeing you.
genuinely mean it though, I
They-
mean,
no,
because we
it's very
do,
genuine.
whenever
It
we
is.
are.
Back then, if you didn't come,
because I like you.
It is
Yeah,
very
that's
genuine.
it, is that we do, I mean.
It is very genuine. Yeah.
Because there was
Yeah.
only so many of us, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, and I think like for me, someone who doesn't have that long history, seeing you from afar, seeing your team, and then you look at people on your team that you're like, damn, what's he teaching them over there? Because
Yeah.
they're just blowing the roof off.
Yeah,
So when she said like, I'm gonna do James, I'm like, please. you know?
yeah,
Well, and you know, and I tell you, you've got to be careful because it's easy to have that constant in a bill, you know, on the table. With a builder, to know that you're going to get every listing because you've got that agreement with
Yeah.
them. Now, Jennifer is taking that side.
Yeah.
Because it does, you know, I've got 65 lots. I have 65 lots brand new in Indian Springs, and I've got 23 over in the woods, and then he's talking about the 421 project too. So you've got to be careful how you balance yourself,
Yeah.
but you've got to plug in. You've got to, it's like with that, there's so much more, it's not like I make the appointments, then I have to meet with them, the staff, and tell them what I did. Then I have to meet with the girl who designs it and the colors and coordinate it. Then they'll give me everything. I'll type up the pricing and kick it out.
What are
And
you
then-
doing for anxiety?
Anxiety, honestly, I mean, since I've had surgery, I am on an anxiety medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got, I take 3 or 4 pills. I've got blood pressure, cholesterol, and what, I take something, it's a form of Prozac at night.
Excellent. Oh, no.
I forget what it's called.
Ambien?
It's a
We're all
form of
calling it
Prozac. They've got a funny name.
Retinol.
But what happened is, it's like, when they pulled out that part of my plumbing, a lot of things messed up. I didn't have blood pressure before, didn't have cholesterol before.
Isn't that crazy?
And
And
the
all
only,
this
I was
stuff
not
is why.
going to, my dad passed away 20 years ago, and we found out the day, right before he passed away, he had prostate cancer. So at that point, when it happened, we were like, okay, I'll go, for my birthday, I'll give this. Well, I had just done, what's so strange is I had just done a year with Capri at MD Anderson, every weekend, everything. We got her a corporate apartment, which was a God blessing, that she could stay in with her mother for 5 weeks, because she was at radiation every day. And it was just too much, my mother-in-law, you don't want her to drive over there. She ran into her, my father-in-law once, so we're good at it. But you turn around and you start looking at, so I got off that. I also had to have my, what do you do at 40, 50 years old, do a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Everything was close. I said, oh, I'll miss my birthday. I had a panic attack. And I'm being very, very open more about it than I was. I thought it was something hidden, but I had a bad panic attack.
Yeah.
I could not stop. And I went and saw a buddy of mine.
It's an awful feeling when
And,
you
oh
don't.
yeah, no, I mean, you were just, unbelievable. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand what people,
Yeah.
nothing I could do.
Yeah.
So, went to see Chad LaPre, and he's a nurse practitioner, and he said, this is what you do, I'll give you just enough, but we'll go see your doctor. I was in between doctors, so I got Dr. Hammond, Chad Hammond, he's my new doctor, and he said, let's do a blood work, everything. I said, okay. Well, he said, hey, your PSA is high. PSA is the marker for a
Yeah.
guy. And he said, it's high. I said, yeah, which one high? I said, it's usually 4. He goes, oh, it's 7. I said, and I pick on him. I said, when I came to you, you gave me cancer. So it was because of the different signs that you do, you go through, and I didn't realize when they did that, what it would affect you. It didn't affect my marriage per se, even though there's different effects because of prostate cancer and stuff. But it affected the energy level I had. I don't mind going home at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And you could tell, this is the heaviest I've been, and I'm like, hell with it, go make the cookies. But you get to it where it's like that, and I thought maybe it was a combination of my son getting ready to go to college and that growing up, because it is tough. We had my son go, and then 2 years later my daughter went to cosmetology in Woodlands. So I had an apartment there. They're not cheap in the Woodlands. We bought a condo in there, so trying to balance all that. And by the grace of God, you get it done. But it's just that time. It's yes, and I do. I also have another pill I can take if I have a panic attack.
I've been
I like
in
that you're
too,
open
so I
about
totally
it.
understand it, yeah.
Well, I need to be. That honestly, for a long time, they would have diagnosed me ADHD. I'm glad they didn't, because I can see what it does with my son and some other people I know that have it.
Yeah.
Younger kids, and it would have dulled me too much.
Yeah.
They called it hyper back then.
Yeah.
50 years ago. Come on.
Yeah.
But I did. I also went out a lot more. I always said, give me a couple quarters, give me a rope and a bike, and I'm gone.
No, but it's funny, and you're somebody that I've talked to on the phone just from like showing houses or things like that, but I never got to really talk to you, and you're talking about the knocks or things like that, but you kept coming up in front of me, like Mark would tell a story, and it was about way back when, and you were part of it, and I was like, wait a second, he was here then, and something else had happened, and then you came in that day to get your paperwork and stuff, and we were chatting, and I was just like, you know what, you're somebody that I really have wanted to get up there, and it was kind of like the opportunity kept presenting itself, so I'm so grateful that you did, and that you got out of your shell.
Yay,
and came and sat
Jane!
with us, because I think, like she said, there's so many of us that have wanted to hear from you, and do appreciate, all the knowledge that you want to share with us, so thank you so much, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Biggest thing is too, one last thing is, we all have our own road.
Yeah.
It's not wrong or right, but there's also people that can help you down the road.
Absolutely.
between friends, family, co-workers, doctors, just rock and roll.
Yeah,
Capri and I pull up the anchor, keep sailing.
yeah.
Don't let your anchor drag.
Yeah.
Get rid of your anchor and just go. You'll
Yeah.
make it.
Don't let it weigh you
Yeah.
down.
When younger couples get married, we say, get rid of a couple things. If it's a money problem, it's here, not between you and the two. And then don't think about the word divorce. Sometimes it happens, but don't think about it. When you get in, you're getting in, if you even had the thought, well, if it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
then don't do it.
Yeah,
But no, keep the money over here, and just keep going.
Yeah.
Just forgive,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions before we wrap it up for it? Anybody online? Can see Tim or not?
You're so colorful, who knew?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's been through a whole lot.
I've been through a whole lot. Oh, I could
I
tell you.
love it.
Can we,
We'll turn it off?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, thank you so much, though. I
Okay.
appreciate it.